Pardon me. It is beginning. We are going to dive back into the art of the deal, hopefully for the last time tonight. So cross your fingers, say your prayers, all of that. Give people a few minutes to settle in and join, and then we'll get started. Oh, shout out to Davy Jones and Latine and Callie. Hi, Mary May. How you doing? Y'all, I got to see a little rat today. It was so cute. I was at the park, and yes, little rat was scurrying around a trash can and then leapt off onto one of the benches. And I got to get a little close to it and say hi. Like, we made eye contact. It was super sweet. Then it got scared and ran off, They're very skittish. There was a horrible little poison trap, like, right by there. I was like, don't go into it. A little rat, yeah. There were squirrels as well I saw today at the park. But, yeah, the rat was... You don't always see rats, They kind of hide more, so it was exciting. One of the highlights of the day. Okay. And I saw a healer too. Healer dog. She got all excited and was sniffing me. That was nice. I'm looking at how my hair is laying here. I'm not too sure about it. Look at that. Oh no. Like, you want it to be messy just so, but not like looking odd or out of place in your messiness, Oh well. How are y'all doing? It's December. It's the first day of December. Rent's due. Oh my. Rent is due. What else? It's the last month of the year. I can't really believe it. It's all happening so fast. I've seen your request, Latine, and I will definitely consider it. Hello, C Element. Or is it CSS Element? I know, I can't believe it. December. And I'm looking at my calendar and it's already getting kind of full. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. Like, every December, I somehow end up like just doing so many things. It gets exhausting. And there's plenty of things I don't end up doing, but like, there's so many things to catch your attention. Okay, so I'm going to dig into the book now, y'all. So last time we were here, he was talking about this man that he hired, just looking backwards, for the Television City job. He hired this guy, Alex Cooper, to... I'm looking for the exact title. I don't know. He was the architect. So he's talking about working with this particular architect. Hello, Rise and Inspire. Welcome to the chat. So anyway, let's get into this. We had our differences, but I quickly discovered that Alex had far grander instincts than many people realized. And we got along better professionally than most people assumed we would. Excuse me, I'm moving something. Alex added more streets and pedestrian walkways, providing access through the project to the waterfront. He designed parks that were easily reached by anyone coming from outside. We agreed to increase the number of buildings and make each one a little smaller. In front of the taller buildings, Alex added townhouses as a way of varying the scale. What Alex didn't do was substantially reduce the amount of overall square footage below what I believed was necessary to ensure the project's economic viability. Still, his changes plainly had an impact. Suddenly, we started getting more positive feedback from city planning. When we unveiled the plan publicly on October 23, 1986, even our toughest critics were more enthusiastic than they'd been about the original plan. The head of the local community board, John Cole, still objected to the super skyscraper. No, I am the one who bestows the wrench and I'm the one who takes them away. No one else comes in here and tells me what to do regarding the wrenches, guys. But he described Alex's new approach as a brilliant answer to Trump's desires and a far better plan. Cooper himself, who'd been skeptical of the size of the project at first, grew more enthusiastic as he got more involved in the design. In April 1987, he told the New York Times, "I hope that the project can be dealt with on its merits. The problem is that the anti-development spirit in this city is very, very strong right now. What we are trying to do at Television City is different. There's room by the river, and we are providing a level of public amenity that makes this immense size justifiable. Parks, waterfront promenades, and so forth. The world's tallest building demands an extraordinary situation, but if there is any place that such a skyscraper makes sense, it is here." I couldn't have said it better myself. As for attracting NBC to the site, I felt our cause got a boost when General Electric purchased RCA, owner of NBC, in mid-1986. I knew Jack Welch Jr., the chairman of GE, and he struck me as a brilliant big thinker who would immediately see the advantage of locating NBC on a site like Television City. Welch went on to name Bob Wright, one of his top GE executives, to head NBC. And I got the same feeling about Wright. They are exceptional men, even if they don't choose my site. Oh, Mary May says that Biden has pardoned Hunter Biden. Oh, Hunter Biden. Oh, Hunter Biden. What a mess. What a mess. I can't really be mad at him. I don't know. I should, I suppose. But doesn't every family have one? Okay, let's continue. At the time GE took over, NBC had been actively considering no less than 4 New York City sites, in addition to the one in New Jersey. In January 1987, NBC announced that aside from the possibility of remaining at Rockefeller Center, they narrowed their choice to just 2 sites. Ours and the marshland owned by Hartz Mountain Industries in Secaucus, New Jersey. Secaucus? Eliminated from the competition were 3 other New York City sites. Wow, okay, so it's between Trump and New Jersey. Oof. The result was to make the issue very simple. Either NBC came to my site or they moved to New Jersey. The city had already announced a willingness to offer NBC tax concessions, mostly in the form of property tax abatements, as an inducement for the network to remain in New York. The question now is whether they'd offer a package competitive with New Jersey's proposal. Incredibly, the city seemed content to sit back and do nothing. I say incredible because in early 1987, Mobil Oil, one of the largest corporations in the world, announced that it was abandoning New York and moving to Virginia. A short time later, J.C. Penney, another huge employer, revealed that it too was leaving and taking along many thousands of jobs. You'd think the city, faced with yet a third big company threatening to leave, would spring into action. Not under Ed Koch, however. What's wrong with Ed Koch? In late February 1987, the Daily News ran an editorial that I thought captured the dilemma perfectly. After suggesting that the loss of NBC would be a major blow to the city, an enormous loss of jobs, revenues, and prestige, the editorial addressed the significance of my site. Television City is far from a certainty, it said. The project must work its way through the city approval process, where anything from bureaucratic inertia to political cowardice can kill it. That's not a case for City Hall's blindly accepting Trump's plan in toto, but it is an argument for swiftness and efficiency in making crucial yes or no decisions. The goal of city policy must be to keep NBC home. The worst possible result would be to lose it to cowardice. In my view, that's precisely what was happening. Early in May 1987, I went to the city with a proposal for a tax abatement program that would make it possible for me to offer NBC a deal competitive with New Jersey's. Alaire Townsend, the city's head of economic development, had said herself that without abatement, NBC stood to save up to $2 billion over a 20-year period by moving to New Jersey. I suggested a deal under which I'd build NBC's headquarters myself at a cost of between $300 million and $400 million. I'd also subsidize NBC's rent for 30 years by charging only $15 a square foot, which is less than half the break-even rent. Finally, I'd agreed to give to the city 25% of any profits Television City earned for a period of 40 years. In return, I'd get a 20-year tax abatement on my entire site. Even then, my savings would begin only when I got the project up, which was years away at best. In the meantime, I'd be subsidizing NBC out of my own pocket to the tune of at least $30 million a year. Ironically, there was almost total opposition to my offer within my own organization. Robert Harvey Freeman and Norman Levine felt that for me to agree to give NBC $30 million a year in subsidies before we knew what revenues we'd be earning was too great a risk. My feeling was that the risk was worth taking. A tax abatement for our residential apartments would make them more marketable. In addition, NBC would be a prestigious addition to the site and a lure. For the city, it was no lose. They put up no money at all to keep NBC, and in lieu of taxes, they'd share a substantial percentage of any profits we ultimately earned. My proposal sparked the first serious negotiations we'd had with the city. Ed Koch didn't participate, but the city officials under him seemed receptive to the general structure of the plan. On May 25th, however, after more than 3 weeks of intense negotiations, Ed Koch turned the deal down cold. I'm convinced that he made the determination not on the merits, but rather because he didn't want to make any deal with me, no matter how good it was for the city. I know that the tree isn't decorated yet, y'all. It just got it out, okay? It'll be decorated soon. I don't know, though, if that's the best spot for it. It's not really stable there. So I may end up having to move it. But we'll try to have it in the background. Hello, Nicholas. How are you? Shout out to Nicholas Woodall. The next day, I wrote Koch a letter that I'd held off writing for more than a year. Dear Ed, it said, your attitude on keeping NBC in New York City is unbelievable, and I predict will lead to NBC leaving the city, as so many other major companies have for New Jersey. I again ran down the benefits of keeping the network and ended by saying, I am tired of sitting back quietly and watching New Jersey and other states drain the lifeblood out of New York. Wow. Koch replied exactly the way I expected him to. He refused to respond to my specific points, and he tried to turn the issue into a personal contest of wills. Koch, the great protector against Trump, the greedy developer. For months, he'd been looking for a way to get back at me for embarrassing him by building Woolman Rink so quickly and efficiently. The West Side Yards, he apparently decided, was the perfect vehicle. When I came back with yet another suggestion for saving NBC, selling 9 acres of my site at below my cost directly to the city, Koch rejected it without so much as a discussion. I can't say I was surprised when the New York Times came out against my plan. The writer of the editorial was longtime Koch ally Herb Sturtz, until joining the Times editorial board only a few weeks earlier. Sturtz had been head of the City Planning Commission with specific responsibility for a television city. In my view, letting Herb Sturtz write editorials about New York City is analogous to permitting Caspar Weinberger to write editorials about Reagan's military policy. Davy Jones asked what happened to movie night. We watched a movie. There will be another movie night another time. Perhaps next Saturday I'll do another movie showing. Y'all get in the Discord. Shall I drop a link? No, we're not doing a movie night right now. We're doing this. Stop being ungrateful. You're lucky I even performed for you bastards. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't really know. Okay. Hey, modern gentlemen. Y'all, yeah, if you guys are interested, There's a Discord set up. Yesterday I did a watch stream, so we watched an old movie together, and I'll be doing it again. So get in there. Get in there and, find out when. So you can watch with me, or there's also a message board, voice channels if you want to talk to one another. It's a fun time. Okay. Well, that's enough of that. I did get strong editorial support, however, from the Daily News. The mayor is correct in saying there are limits to how much the city can give NBC, the news wrote, but that's no excuse for inaction. Koch should personally bring together the decision makers from NBC, Rockefeller Center, and Trump's outfit. He should lay out a strong plan and knock heads if that's what it takes. Instead, Koch offered NBC a, pardon my language, half-assed, watered down tax abatement proposal, which he said they could apply at any Manhattan site they chose. He even offered a little free advice about some news sites they might consider. Free advice, of course, tends to be worth what you pay for it. No sooner did Koch make his suggestion than an NBC spokesman said the network wasn't interested in considering more sites. In the meantime, the executives at Hartz Mountain Industries weren't sitting idly by. Recognizing an opportunity to force NBC's hand, they announced on June 1st that the network had 30 days to accept the terms they were offering, and which New York was no longer willing to match. Oh, wow. There were some who told me that I was hurting my chances for zoning approval by taking on Koch in the media. They may have well been right. That was interesting. I've come to believe Ed Koch is so incompetent and destructive to New York that someone has to stand up and say so publicly. When the Daily News polled its readers as to whether they agreed with Koch's position on NBC or with mine, the results were very satisfying. Nearly 10,000 readers sided with me, only 1,800 went with Koch. I've waited a long time to build on the west side, and I can wait longer to get the zoning I feel is necessary. In the end, I will build Television City with or without NBC and with or without the current administration. I continue to keep all my other options open too, because as I've said, it's the only way you truly protect yourself. If the residential real estate market remains strong, I'll undoubtedly do very well selling large Riverview apartments in that location. If the market generally falls, and that can only be temporary in a city like New York, I may choose to build only the shopping complex. I'll do very, very well just with that. My time in television cities will come. I'm lucky that I can afford to wait, because that way I'll be able to do it right. The one thing I know is that I'll be doing business in New York City long after Ed Koch has moved out of Gracie Mansion. Ooh. Ooh. The shade. The shade, y'all. The shade. All right, that was chapter 13. We're on to chapter 14, y'all. Give me a moment. I'm going to step away. Yeah, I need to step away for a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. And then we will delve into chapter 14. I know, isn't it exciting? The last chapter. Mm. Hey y'all, I wanted to grab my little hoodie, my little fuzzy hoodie. It's feeling a bit chilly. But yeah, putting it on, now my hair kind of came out a bit. So, y'all like it? My friend was getting rid of it. It wasn't her style. And she's like, "You want it?" I was like, yes. Give it here, please. Thanks. Thanks. So yeah, it's super cozy and I'm digging it. Well, let's continue on. Terri got the hoodie on like she Carmelo. Who's Carmelo? She cozy like cozy.com. Cozy TV, that's it. I am a bit cozy. Should probably, yeah, a bit cozy. Y'all like it. This is what I wore to church. I even wore my little leopard print ballet slippers. Look pretty cute, I must say. Okay, y'all, I gotta keep going. We gotta get through this last chapter. Yeah, Stacey changed her pick. It looks festive. Okay, Donald Trump saying Merry Christmas. Okay, Merry Christmas. I wonder if I should do a Christmas theme pick? Should I do that? I know I have a Santa hat somewhere. Would that be fun? Just a little one for the Christmas season. Well, I don't know. Okay. How the deals came out. The week that was. How the deals came out. I said at the start that I do it to do it, but in the end, you're measured not by how much you undertake, but by what you finally accomplish. What follows is an accounting of how the deals that crossed my desk in a week I chose to describe have since turned out. Holiday Inns. Several weeks after selling my holiday steak for a profit, which was substantial but not the reported $35 million, I began purchasing stock in another casino company, Valley Manufacturing Corporation. In a short time, I accumulated 9.9% of the stock. Valley responded by adopting poison pill provisions aimed at thwarting any attempt at a hostile takeover. When they also sued to try to keep me from buying any more stock, I countersued. 2 days after I initiated my suit, Valley announced an agreement to purchase the Golden Nugget Casino at the highest price ever for an Atlantic City casino, almost $500 million, including the cost of the bonds. Once again, the real goal seemed to be to thwart me. No company is legally permitted to own more than 3 casinos in Atlantic City. And if I took over Valley after they purchased the Golden Nugget, I'd own 4. I think he mentioned Roy Cohn. I can't really remember, though. In effect, however, they put me in a win-win position. By paying such a huge price for the nugget, Valley could only serve to increase the value of all casinos in town, including the 2 I already owned. In the end, Valley offered me a settlement I couldn't refuse. I agreed not to stand in the way of their purchase of the nugget. In return, they agreed to buy back my 9.9% stake in their company at an average price much higher than I paid, giving me a profit on my brief investment of more than $20 million. In March 1987, I made my 3rd attempt to purchase a casino company, Resorts International, but this time on a friendly basis. In the wake of the death of Resorts founder James Crosby, several other parties had launched bids for the company, but none had been successful. Did I yawn? Why would there be gripers in my chat? What do you mean? I don't want anybody who's part of like some kind of weird internet cult. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. The people who find my channel are who's meant to find it, I guess. In the meantime, I developed a close relationship with several members of the resorts who controlled the company. In April 1987, I came to an agreement with the family to buy or tender for 93% of the voting stock in the company at $135 per share. Several other bidders subsequently offered a higher price, but the family stuck by our agreement. Among other things, they believed I was the bidder with the best credentials to complete construction on Jim Crosby's pet project, the Taj Mahal on the boardwalk, designed as the largest and most lavish hotel casino in the world. The Taj Mahal had already gone many millions of dollars over budget and was still nowhere near completion at the time Crosby died. I hope to have the Taj open by October 1988. In order to create a more efficient operation, I may close the casino and the existing resorts facility adjacent to the Taj Mahal and use it to service the Taj. Of course, I could always sell it to another casino operator for the right price. Who knows, maybe Bally or Holiday Inns might be interested. Annabelle Hill. We ended up raising more than $100,000 for the Annabelle Hill Fund, which we used to pay off her mortgage and save her farm. To celebrate, we flew Mrs. Hill and her daughter to New York, where we held Trump Tower's atrium first, and I suspect its last mortgage burning ceremony. United States Football League. The owners voted unanimously to appeal the ruling under which the USFL was awarded just $1 in damages, despite the jury's antitrust finding against the National Football League. I think the grounds for the appeal are as strong as our original case. Woolman Rink. The rink came in at $750,000 under budget and opened a full month ahead of schedule in November 1986. More than 500,000 skaters enjoyed the rink during the first year. Before the opening, the city predicted a major operating loss. For the first full season of operation, we earned almost $500,000 in profits, all of which went to charity. What up, Chris, in the chat? Zenny is bringing up Joe Biden pardoning Hunter again. We discussed this briefly before. I don't know what to make of it. I have a soft spot for Hunter. You know, he's just such an F up, you know. But I don't know. I don't know the extent of what he's done. I'm not surprised it's happened. I don't have any real reaction to it other than like to shrug, I suppose. You know, of course he did. Palm Beach Towers. Lee Iacocca became my partner in the purchase of 2 condominium towers in the Palm Beach area, which we bought for approximately $40 million. When we took over the project, only a few units had been sold. In a short period of time, operating in a glutted market for condominiums in southern Florida, we sold or leased nearly 50 units and managed to turn a bankrupt operation into a big success story. During the next year, we intend to open a major restaurant on the ground level of one of the towers. Among those who bid for the space are the owners of the 21 Club in New York and Harry Cipriani, owner of Harry's Bar, Sir Charles Goldstein was dismissed as counsel to Lee before the deal was concluded. It's not Scipriani. It's Cipriani. The Australian casino, although we were among the finalists being considered to operate the second largest casino in the world after the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, I thought better of it at the last moment. The idea of running a business, which is a 24-hour plane trip from New York City, just didn't make sense, particularly when I have so much to occupy my attention in my own backyard. Shortly before the decision was to be announced by officials in New South Wales, I let them know I was withdrawing my bid. The Beverly Hills Hotel. The hotel was finally sold to the highest bidder, oilman Marvin Davis, for a fair price in excess of what I was willing to pay. After having the property inspected, I kept my own bid low. Of course, should Davis ever choose to sell, I'm sure he'll earn a profit. Marvin Davis subsequently became one of the bidders for Resorts International as well. After I'd already made my deal, he not only offered a higher price, but also tried to get the Murphy and Crosby families to renege on their agreement with me. They refused, and the court approved my deal, after which the New Jersey Casino Control Commission also approved it by a 5-0 vote. You think I look like Cruella de Vil? I'm gonna have to maybe, if I comb my hair just right, I could maybe have a streak go over the black, kind of marring it. Maybe that would look a little more Cruella-y. Modern Gentleman is agreeing with a laugh. You know, I love furs, guys. I love furs. A lot of girls were doing the two-tone hair recently, but I could never go for that, you know. It's too weird. Like, I mean, you just have to keep your hair, you know. It just seems like a lot of work, and then you have to keep your hair like parted down the middle all the time. Cat furs. No, I have mink, lamb, rabbit. Y'all are so nice. Aw, thanks, Mary May. I don't know, but a Dalmatian coat would look really cool, wouldn't it? Any girl who dyes her hair gray is insane. It is weird. It is weird when the super young do it. Y'all are so mean. I was chilly, for goodness sakes. This is cozy. I was getting cozy. It is, yeah, it is odd. Oh, I just spilled some. Okay. Right around the same time, I happened to be at a fabulous party in California thrown by Merv Adelson and Barbara Walters, and a reporter asked me about Marvin Davis's bid for Resorts. Kidding me, I said that Davis, who happens to be terribly overweight, should focus on losing 200 pounds instead of wasting time trying to break my deal with Resorts. I heard later that Davis was incensed by my remark, but I can't say I felt bad. I don't go out of my way to be cordial to enemies. You dealt with a girl who dyed her hair gray. Oh, Zenny. She must have been really crazy. Y'all men are so predictable. Y'all love a crazy mess of a girl in your fallen state. Yeah, and the dyes are so bad for you. Like, honestly, I'm so glad I stopped dyeing my hair. It was terrible. Like, you just think about how many chemicals she's exposing herself to and what impact is that having on her health, let alone her, mental state. You got to watch it too, especially these women that are always changing their hair. Like, if her hair is changing like every month, like she has a new thing going on with her hair, she's always cutting it or like doing something to it, like there's something going on. No one should be that, like, I don't know, uncomfortable with their appearance, and just like, it's a form of self-harm, honestly. Like, it's more socially acceptable than other forms, but yeah, it's one of those indications that a girl is like being self-destructive. Whimsical, yeah. I mean, I get changing it up like a couple times a year, maybe like, like get it trimmed or cut or get bangs, when you're feeling spicy one year, but yeah, it's it's weird. It's weird. Okay, anyway, the parking garage. In October 1986, several months after construction on our new parking garage had begun, I got an emergency call one morning. Just before I was scheduled to make a speech to a group of businessmen in New York, my construction manager, Tom Pippett, was calling. It seemed that the operator of a huge megaton crane had reached his broom out too far for a pickup, and the result was the crane and a 22-ton beam toppled over onto the garage. Oh dear. M says manic pixie dream girls need to express themselves. Well, yes, one should express oneself, but there are different ways of doing it. But as you're expressing yourself, like constantly, like drastically altering your appearance until you have like short, like dried out, frazzled hair. Hello, Mateus Borges. Good evening. Let us continue. Pippett told me that a huge section of the garage had literally collapsed. What about the workers? I asked. Was anyone hurt? He told me that at least 100 men had been working on the site and that a head count was underway. I told him to keep me posted and went off to make my speech, trying to put the issue out of my mind while I spoke. As I was walking out after the speech, I was handed a message from Tom. I called back immediately. You're not going to believe this, Mr. Trump, he said. But we've accounted for everyone and no one was hurt. Wow. Mm-hmm. Grimes is a tragedy, for real. Tomas vibes on Mateus. You think every guy who comes into the chat is Tomas. Yes, that's true, modern gentleman. Yeah, it's usually a result of some kind of trauma. It's a form of dissociation, definitely. Oh, oh dear. Stacy says she does not. You do a bit, though. You do a bit. Losing even one life would have been horrible and devastating. In this case, only the sheer luck that the men at the site happened to be working on another part of the garage at that moment saved their lives. It goes to show you how fragile it all really is. These men were very lucky, and so was I. The job was finished without further incident. In May 1987, we opened 1,200 new spaces in the parking facility, connected by a walkway to Trump Plaza on the boardwalk. During the week that followed, our slot machine revenues more than doubled, mostly from the increased pedestrian traffic through our facility. By July, we had all 2,700 parking spaces opened, along with the bus terminal and the limousine drop-off, all on time and all on budget. Christ conquers. You called me Tomas for a minute, then I called Joel. Well, until Tomas calls Joel, the jury's still out, Christ conquers. Okay, I'm gonna take my hair down, honestly. It's getting on my nerves, especially with this little bit that fell in my face. Oof. It's caught in the clip, y'all. Ow. Yeah, I got a piece like caught. There we go. All right. Amazing. Maybe I should put the hood up. Terry Morrison. Oh my. Where are you from ethnically? Says Christ Conquers. Oh my. Ow. There we go. How's that with your hair hiding your face? I'm tucking it behind the ear. Oh, American with Portuguese ancestry. I had a friend who was Portuguese in high school. She had a baby really young, like 18 years old. She moved to another town and then, yeah, she had a baby. And so her life was just all settled and stuff, you know. She's a couple years older than me as well, so. Okay, let's continue. My goodness. Had a baby at 18. Nice. I don't know, maybe. It seemed stressful to me at the time. It seemed kind of like crazy. I was like, why doesn't she want to see me? Like, I came to visit her town. I contacted her. I was like, oh my God, I'm in town. But I was like, you know, I think I was 16 at the time. So I didn't really understand, like, she was a mom and she, you know, was settled and had a life and she couldn't, like, just, you know, drop what she was doing to come see me. And I was like, ugh. Sounds like slavery. I don't know, modern gentlemen. I was in a group of women discussing it today, and they were talking about all the health benefits that come from having them later, too. Like, they keep you young. I don't know. I think people should just have them when the time is right, you know? You're in the Inland Empire. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Las Vegas. I withdrew my application for a gaming license in Las Vegas. Between resorts and my 2 other casinos in Atlantic City, I had enough to occupy me in the casino business closer to home. My focus now is on Atlantic City, but I don't rule out building or buying in Nevada at some point in the future. I agree, Stacy. There's pros and cons to both. Yeah, that's right, Zenny. Let God decide. Mm. I feel like I was far more rigid in my ways when I was younger, though. I feel like I was such a, hard-headed person. I definitely would have been a terrible mother if I'd been, you know, if I'd been like, pregnant at 18, I would not have been a good mother. I know for a fact. I can tell. Like, no way. No way. I could see how she would be a good mother though. Like definitely. But 18-year-old Terri was a mess. I would not have been able to properly take care of a child. The Trump car. A decision has been made to go into production on 2 Cadillac body limousines using my name. The Trump Golden Series will be the most opulent stretch limousine made. The Trump Executive Series will be a slightly less lavish version of the same car. Neither one has yet to come off the line, but the folks at Cadillac Motors Division recently sent over a beautiful gold Cadillac Elante as a gift. Perhaps they felt I needed more toys to keep me busy. Zenny says old parents look wrong. I don't know. I don't think about it much. I mean, what is old? How old are we talking? If we're talking like an 84-year-old man with like, a 30-something wife and a kid, yeah, that looks wrong. But like, what, people in their 60s with a high school student, I don't think that looks that weird. Well, I mean, not in your 60s maybe, but like, your 50s. No, modern gentlemen, listen to me. Like, no, 18-year-old Terri would have been a terrible, like, I'm sure of it. It doesn't matter. It didn't happen. Thank goodness. Do I visit the JLP chat? Visit more like I reside there. Yeah, I know you were an agent provocateur. Goodness, Irish Repub. Do you think so, Stacy? I guess that makes sense. Yeah. No, well, you just hear about like, I wouldn't have been able to control my anger. I mean, I can't really, I mean, like, there's so many things, like my awareness, even. And really desire and ability to nurture. Like, I had none. Well, anyway. The Drexel deal. I decided to not go forward with the hotel company deal that Drexel Burnham Lambert brought me, and I've continued to keep all my investment banking business with Alan Greenberg and Bear Stearns. It's been a rough time for Drexel. Trump's Castle. I said you can't bet against Ivana, and she proved me right even sooner than I expected. When the figures were announced for the first 3 months of 1987, Trump's Castle had the biggest increase in revenues among all the 12 casinos in Atlantic City and was the most profitable hotel in town. The castle took in $76.8 million in those 3 months, a 19% gain over the comparable period during the previous year. Good as that performance is, there's no way Ivana will be happy until she's far outdistanced the field. Golf and Western. I've been continuing to talk to Martin Davis, the chairman of Golf and Western, about the theaters. In addition, I've since purchased a great deal of stock in the department store chain Alexander's. The chain's flagship location between 58th and 59th Streets and 3rd and Lexington Avenues next to Bloomingdale's is another perfect site for theaters, as well as for mixed-use commercial and residential skyscraper. I look like a Sith Lord. I look like a Sith Lord. Y'all. Aw, I was just being cozy. Y'all are saying I look like a Sith Lord. Hello, Gregatron in chat. She looks like she's gonna turn down the lights and put on lo-fi beats. Oh my God. Should I just do that for my streams? Would that be more acceptable? I don't know. Oh. Destiny has a son? Animal print and black is the fastest way to look more Italian. I look Italian enough as it is. Those genes are strong, man. If you see those relatives with that last name, I swear to God. All that family, like, dang. You can tell they're all related too. They just like strong features. It's cool though, you know. Mar-a-Lago. The pool and the tennis court are finished, and both are as beautiful as I'd hoped they would be. As little as I'm interested in relaxing, I enjoy Mar-a-Lago almost in spite of myself. It may be as close to paradise as I'm going to get. Moscow Hotel. In January 1987, I got a letter from Yuri Dubinin, the Soviet ambassador to the United States, that began, "It is a pleasure for me to relay some good news from Moscow." It went on to say that the leading Soviet state agency for international tourism, Goskomintourist, has expressed interest in pursuing a joint venture to construct and manage a hotel in Moscow. On July 4th, I flew with Ivana, her assistant Lisa Kalandra, and Norma to Moscow. It was an extraordinary experience. We toured a half dozen potential sites for a hotel, including several near Red Square. We stayed in Lenin's suite at the National Hotel, and I was impressed with the ambition of the Soviet officials to make a deal. Modern gentlemen, how rude. Bubblelandia is singing Shania Twain. Okay, so you're Brad Pitt. Okay, so you're a rocket scientist. Okay, so you're a modern gentleman. That don't impress me much. Man, y'all are laughing with him. Ugh. How does Destiny have a son? Who had a kid with Destiny? Like that, what? Y'all are so mean about my sweet little tree. My sweet little tree, and y'all are making fun of it. My sweet little tree. Y'all are picking on it. I know a guy who does drag, and he impersonates Shania Twain. That's his biggest inspiration, and he does her songs when he performs. Interesting fellow. Very nice, though. But I was like, really? Shania Twain is your muse? Okay. Huh. Interesting. Yes, I'm sure that's true. Stacy has a little tree like mine. I said my tree is safe from the Grinch. Christ Conqueror says Destiny had a kid and realized he had to grow up, but he didn't want to. So his sexuality is his rebellion against his ex and his son. His sexuality? It looks like an LGBTQ tree. Wow, you guys. I live in an apartment. I can't be getting something huge. Y'all hurt my feelings about my tree. My pathetic little tree. You're so mean. You're so mean. If you're not going to cut down a tree and bring it in here and set it up for me and then take it down, don't complain. This is what I can manage, guys. Trump Fund. I decided against setting up a separate fund to buy distressed real estate using money raised from outside investors. I don't mind taking risks myself, but the idea of being responsible for the money of a lot of other people, particularly when they're bound to include some friends, just wasn't appealing in the end. For the same reason, I've never been tempted to take any of my companies public. Making choices is a lot easier when you have to answer only to yourself. My apartment. The renovation on my apartment was finally finished in the fall of 1987. I could afford to take my time, and I'm happy that I did. There may be no other apartment in the world like it. That's nice. Mary May says, if I like it, who cares what anyone else says? I mean, it does look a little pitiful. I mean, like I like it, but it is a little pitiful. And I don't need y'all pointing out how pitiful my little tree is. Gosh. Yes, no tree water. He's never had tree water. Poor Nero, you've never had tree water. You've never got to, climb or knock over a massive Christmas tree. DSM, of course, I have Prime. He's laughing at my quote-unquote tree. No, it's not a tree. It's a plastic tree. It's a fake plastic tree, okay? No, Yoda, no! Why would you say that? I don't want a green one. Yoda is a mod and a member. He is. Yoda loves my channel. Yoda is one of my biggest supporters. Stop calling my tree LGBTQ+. It's an alphabet tree. Gregortron has a green one. If I'm gonna get it fake, I want to get it like fake pink or like white or something. Hi, Jacob Waters. It's a Portland tree. Oh, it will look nice. I don't know. Should I put lights on it? Maybe. I didn't even think about putting lights on it. Usually I just put little ornaments. It's 50s kitsch, not LGBT. They have the little green trees with lights already built in. I mean, I do have some lights I could probably put on it. I do have a string of purple Christmas lights. And then I have some fairy lights that are, they're pink blossoms. They might be cute on it. I'm thinking those. Do that this year. How can a tree be LGBTQ? Yeah, it'll be festive. Come on, guys. Stop making fun of my tree. All right, airplanes. I finally found a plane. I happened to be reading an article in Business Week in the spring of 1987 about a troubled Texas-based company named Diamond Shamrock. The article described how top Shamrock executives were enjoying incredible perks, actually living like kings. Among the examples cited was a lavishly equipped company-owned 727, which executives flew around in at will. I sensed an opportunity. On Monday morning, I called the office of the Diamond Shamrock executive who had been pictured on the cover of the Business Week article. It turned out that he was no longer there, and a new chairman, Charles Blackburn, had just been named. I was immediately put through to him. We talked for a few minutes, and I wished him well. Then I said that I'd read about the company 727, and that if he had any interest in selling, I was interested in buying. Sure enough, Blackburn said that as much as they all loved the plane, selling it was one of the first things on his agenda. He even offered to send it up to New York so that I could take a look at it. I'll never live the tree down. Are you serious? I think I'll be fine about the tree, guys. I'll survive this. Even if you make fun of it in days to come, it's not going to last. Am I afraid of heights? Yeah, a bit. Yeah, definitely. I mean, not to a, unhealthy amount, but I definitely, am I getting a flu shot? No, probably not. Probably not. Anyway, let's continue. The next day, I went out to LaGuardia Airport for a look. I had to smile. This plane could seat up to 200 passengers, but it had been reconfigured for 15, and it included such luxuries as a bedroom, a full bath, and a separate working area. It was a little more plain than I needed, but I find it hard to resist a good deal when the opportunity presents itself. A new 727 sells for approximately $30 million. A G4, which is 1/4 the size, goes for about $18 million. However, I knew that Diamond Shamrock was hungry to sell, and that not very many people are in the market for 727s. I offered $5 million, which was obviously ridiculously low. They countered at $10 million, and at that point I knew I had a great deal, regardless of how the negotiation ended. Still, I haggled some more, and we finally agreed on a price of $8 million. I don't believe there's any other private plane in the sky comparable to this one. I should watch Ruby Wax and her interview with Trump on his plane. Wow, Golden Rule TV. Dang. Fortunately, I don't know the answer. Oh, sorry. What's next? Fortunately, I don't know the answer because if I did, that would take half the fun out of it. This much I do know. It won't be the same. I've spent the first 20 years of my working life building, accumulating, and accomplishing things that many said could not be done. The biggest challenge I see over the next 20 years is to figure out some creative ways to give back some of what I've gotten. I don't just mean money, although that's part of it. It's easy to be generous when you've got a lot, and anyone who does should be. But what I admire most are people who put themselves directly on the line. I've never been terribly interested in why people give, because their motivation is rarely what it seems to be, and it's almost never pure altruism. To me, what matters is the doing, and giving time is far more valuable than just giving money. In my life, there are two things I've found I'm very good at: overcoming obstacles and motivating good people to do their best work. One of the challenges ahead is how to use those skills as successfully in the service of others as I've done up to now on my own behalf. Don't get me wrong. I also plan to keep making deals, big deals, and right around the clock. The end. The end. We're done with The Art of the Deal, guys. Oh my God. What did y'all think? Did you like the book? Did you like it? Was it good? It was an amazing read. Thanks to y'all for suggesting it. It did go quick. That was the end. Yeah. That was nice. Yeah, I knew we would get through it tonight. I didn't think it would be that fast, but I'm glad, we're through it. It is done. You just wanted to watch me. You want to know what's next? I do have the next book actually right next to me. Do you want to see what's next for reading? It was good nostalgia. It was also good history. And also, I think there was some good lessons in it as well. Like, I definitely going to apply some of what I learned in it. Definitely. Or it kind of helps solidify ways I already think about things. Gregatron says yes. Mary May wants to know. M wants to know. Modern Gentleman wants to know. Anybody else want to know? Anybody else? I'll show it. Art of the Comeback. No, you only get one vote, guys. Yes. Okay, guys. Okay. We are going to be reading, or I'm going to be reading to you, The Mortification of Sin by John Owen, dealing with sin in your life. I'll read the back. John Owen insisted on the importance of the Christian dealing effectively with their sinful tendencies and attitudes. He believed that God, through his word and spirit, had provided the guidelines and the power for this to be achieved. In this classic, Owen effectively dismisses various excuses for not engaging in self-scrutiny, and yet avoids the current trend for self-absorption. In doing so, he provides principles to help believers live lives of holiness. John Owen is among the best known of the Puritans. His writings continue to be widely read and greatly appreciated to this day. He brings to each topic his vast theological learning together with understanding derived from his pastoral duties. And yeah, he wrote other books. the Holy Spirit, the glory of Christ, communion with God, the priesthood of Christ, assurance, death in the death of Christ, and the person of Christ. But yeah, I loved the title of this. It sounded really moving, and it's a topic I find relevant and interesting. So I'm definitely going to get into this. And it's also, I got a copy that's written in Old English, thankfully, or the original English. I had to kind of dig a little bit because most of the printings of it were translated from English written in the 1600s. I mean, I don't like that, I would rather read the original because then you get you may learn words you don't know, and it makes more sense. It's just better for your brain. I'll start reading it this week. I don't know for sure. Maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on how I'm feeling. Yes, they've been. I agree they've been washed away, but I still struggle with my flesh and, really driving a nail through certain things, certain habits, certain ways of being, and it's one thing to say that you are without sin, and it's another thing to really not sin. I understand that's the whole point of sanctification, but I don't think it happens overnight. It's been a process in my life, and it continues. I don't feel anywhere from the way I've seen my spirit change and grow and flourish. I still know that there's much that dwells in me that needs to be mortified. Yeah, it's not me, but sin that lives within me. And it's the job of the Christian to mortify the flesh and mortify the sin. Jesus, Golden Rule TV. That is shocking language. My outward appearance has changed completely. My inward appearance hopefully has changed as well. Trust and believe. Well, y'all, I think this is a short stream. I kind of want to hop off of here then, since I won't be reading anymore tonight. But we have something good to look forward to. Yeah. Oof. Get my little coat off right now. Yeah, I think I'm going to get myself ready to bed and get to bed kind of early tonight. I got to work tomorrow morning. After my lovely holiday weekend, I got to go back to work and do things and use my brain. Char Baby Yoda says, it's early, don't be a punk. No, I want to take a shower and stuff. I want to, get to bed I hopefully get to bed by 9. So yeah, I'm going to go, guys. Yeah, it's about the tree. I mean, you guys did hurt my feelings about my rinky-dink little non-binary tree. So I am having some feelings about that, but that's not the only reason. Well, y'all, have a good night. Thank you, Golden Rule TV. That's nice of you to say. Don't agree. Don't agree. Don't just because I call it rinky dink does not mean you should call it rinky dink or agree. Oh, good night, y'all.